Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is the ridiculous, horrific figures of how many people arrive here by dinghy and don't get sent home, even after failing asylum tests. So this information I found on Twitter last night. Basil, he holds a lot of spaces on there. I follow him on Twitter, and he posted this about the figures. And it's mental. The majority of asylum seekers that we reject still stay here. And you're like, what is the point? What is the point of having an asylum process if you completely ignore its findings when the courts decide that someone's case for asylum has been rejected? So he put a screenshot of a news article which was from earlier on in the year, so the figures are a little bit out of date, but I can't imagine them being that much different. It says it follows Home Office data published last month, which showed only 1% of migrants who have arrived in small boats since 2020 have been deported. 1%. Now let me remind you that every single person that arrives in a boat has arrived here illegally, because the only legal way to claim asylum in the United Kingdom is to present yourself at a border point. That would be where you collect your passport. You know, when you arrive by plane and you get to passport control, or if you come across in a normal boat and go into the docks, you have to cross into the country. That's the only legal way of presenting yourself for asylum. Or, sorry, you can do it another way. You can apply for asylum before you come. You jumped in a boat and landing on a beach, you broke the law before you got here. So that should make your asylum application redundant in day one. But the last two governments don't seem to get control of this. And the Home Office has returned 1,182 of the 111,833 migrants who had crossed the Channel over the last 3 years. That was up to the end of 2023, according to information given to the Commons Home Affairs Committee. Even among Albanian migrants who are easier to remove due to the country have been deemed safe to the UK and you can't claim asylum from a safe country, only 95% of the arrivals have not been sent home. So only 5% of Albanians, that's an easy one. It's like, no, you can't claim asylum from Albania. Cheery bye now. No, we can't even do that. So there's three problems with this fake kiddie-on asylum scam that people arriving for boats cause. And one of them is, obviously they're breaking the law before they get here. We can't cope with the numbers and the costs involved. But the another thing actually is people die, including children, on these boats, right? So it's not clever. But something that I hadn't considered until recently when I'd done a podcast interview with Baraka, a young lad that has his own YouTube channel. That boy was born in a refugee camp because his parents fled Congo due to the war and atrocities there. He was born in the camp, and it took his parents 14 years in the first 11 years of his life to remain in that camp before they were granted asylum into the United Kingdom. And while I was interviewing Baraka, I'll put a link to the interview at the end of this video. And Baraka, while I was talking to him, it became apparent. I thought, well, hold on a minute. That's a long time, 14 years waiting for asylum, sitting in a refugee camp. Meanwhile, all these people are flooding into the country and basically queue jumping. Because the more of them that come in, and we've had 111,000 of them in 3 years, and only 1,000 went home, so that was 110. That was about 30, 40,000 per year just on boats alone, no other form of getting into the country. That means there's 40,000 people sitting in refugee camps that have got no chance of coming. Every year. It's just dangerous. it's costly for us, and it's putting people who are genuine refugees, who have been living in camps for 14 years, it puts them further back in the queue every time a boat arrives. If a boat arrives with 40 people, that's 40 people in refugee camps who are genuine refugees that we can't even consider bringing into this country, regardless of whether we want to or not. And I find that scandalous. So it's got to stop. And how do we stop it? Well, that's easy. We remove ourselves from the ACHR, and we remove the Human Rights Act of 1998. It basically dictates that we've got to look after these people, because another thing you've got to consider, a refugee is someone who, a real one, has had to leave a certain country because of fear and they're in danger. The dinghy migrants come from predominantly France. I think there's a few coming to Holland, but predominantly they come from France. Now, when I last checked, France wasn't having a civil war. People there are not any more or less safe than people here. So you can argue the point that these people might, if they're genuine, have to be fleeing persecution, prosecution, fear of their own life in the country that they left. But they're no longer there as soon as they get out of there. So nobody's in fear of their own life in France. But we just do not have any. We actually make it advantageous for them to come here. But we don't have any way of putting them off. And that's got to be looked at. And I think the idea that the SDP, the party I'm a member of, they state that if anybody came into the country, they should be sent to the Ascension Islands. Just deal with them offshore. That would put you off coming. So then we get you there, we process you there, and we'd probably end up sending you back to your own country from there. You do that for a few months, even 100 or a couple of thousand people, and I'll guarantee you the boats stop. Because if there's no benefit in coming here, we'll stop coming. And the fact they're paying £5,000 allegedly in some cases to get here in a dinghy would suggest it's very worthwhile financially coming here, because why would you not just stay in France or Holland if that's where you came from? We need to put in things to put people off coming here. Deterrence. We don't have any just now. All we have is rewards, because you get to jump the queue and leave people at Baraka's family in concentration camps, and refugee camps. That ain't good. That's no fair. I can't see how that's a good idea. You're putting lives in danger and you're costing us a bloody fortune. I'll be doing a video in the next day or two about the costs involved, because they're even scarier, right? So the process is broke. And we need a government with a set of gonads to say enough is enough. That's not being heartless. That's actually doing people, genuine refugees, a favour. So imagine we could maybe cut their rating from 14 years down to maybe 7 or something. That'd be quite nice, right? So we set a figure, 30, 40,000 a year, whatever it is, not 1.2 million, because that's what our immigration figures are at just now. And we could probably help people who are genuinely in need of our help, like Baraka's family. We'd save ourselves a fortune and we'd stop people dying in the middle of the English Channel. If you enjoyed the video, please give the video a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification button. Please put your comments below. I love reading them, and because of the amount of them just now, I do read them, but I can't respond to them all because there's thousands per day. But please keep that up. But most important of all, unless you are a non-asylum seeker cheating the system, it costing us a fortune, or a government which we've had for the last 20 years who get into power telling us there's too many immigrants and do nothing about it, not you. But
everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.